following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Not too far away from the state of Michigan where we were on Monday and Tuesday, we lie here in Iowa. The 7/8 mile fastest short track on the planet, as it ever so deems, has been hodgepodge repaved to be very difficult. 2 lanes of fresh asphalt and a whole bunch of aging surface. How will these Florida Estate Builders Pro Series drivers take and handle the 7/8 trial track in Newton? Well, we'll find out in 175 laps. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Florida State Builders Pro Series 4 area. The O'Reilly Auto Parts cars will be taking here to Newton. Going to be 175 laps here for round number 5. Got a different name in the booth here as everyone's going through different situations in life. So luckily I have an old friend here to help me out, myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, and Cody Bird, name you haven't heard on the channel in a couple of years, but happy to have you with me, Cody. I know you drive these cars quite a bit. You know your fair share of Iowa. What do you think the name of the game is going to be out there tonight?
Yeah, Corey, happy to be here tonight. Name of the game is just hugging that bottom line around Iowa and really not drifting up into the gray asphalt, running on the black here the entire race. We'll see if these drivers are able to do it, and we'll see what happens when these drivers go up into those lanes. But yeah, qualifying already underway here, Corey.
Absolutely. About 2.5 minutes left, and we'll see if anybody can manage to run themselves a time to improve their position. Here's Alex Chilcutt. Actually, he's coming into the pits, and that is something that is not easy here at Iowa. If by chance there is green flag stops, it will be a challenge. But the rumor is here, Cody, and I don't know if, you know a lot of NASCAR yourself. When they announced that they were coming here, because, NASCAR, they really wanted to go to Montreal. They couldn't make that Canadian deal work, so they decided to come here since they own the track. They needed to pave it, but they didn't have enough time to give the milling company to get all the aggregate together to repave the whole track. So the rumor is they only had enough aggregate to pave the important sections, and that's why we have this odd hodgepodge.
Yeah, and as you can see in qualifying, the 97 just pile drives the wall on the backstretch. But yes, that is the rumor I have heard as well. And part of it too is IndyCar, when they were running here at the same time as the Xfinity Series. And if I do remember last year as well, they didn't have it, and the cars would react differently, and ultimately they left the track the way it was with this unique type of repave here, Corey.
Yeah, and now at this point it's already aged enough that it'd be almost impossible to repave the rest of it, because now you'd create a highline only track, but a lot of drivers do enjoy that. Quickly to bring up the point standings here, we have Peyton Howell up by 3 points over Jake Nichols, John Hall 4 back, and then we have Ryan Mercurio 4th, Opplinger in 5th, and there's the remainder of our top 10. Remember, we do have playoffs to worry about, well, not playoffs, sorry, we have a chase to worry about, but that is not for a while, but still want to get the best positioning that you can. Of course, we want to thank you for tuning in here to PTR TV. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching on Twitch, consider hitting the follow button there. $5 a month gets you the custom emotes. You can earn double points, and then you can redeem those free points to get free merch in due course here. But Cody, let's take a look at what the weather is. You can already see visually that this is not a night race, so that means grip will be at the premium. But actually 88 degrees, I guess that's not too out of realm here, so it shouldn't be too out of control for these guys.
No, yeah, with the track temp only being 88 degrees Fahrenheit, sure, it probably threw some drivers for a loop here today, especially being in Iowa. But with a nice cool day out here in Newton, Iowa, shaping up to be a good day here at the track, Corey.
Absolutely. Now we have warm-up. Now sometimes we get all of warm-up, sometimes we don't, but we'll see how it does work out. There are no drivers missing the show today, so everybody that is here will get to take their time here and run the 175 lapper here this evening. So we'll see how this all works out. Of course, coming from the road course at Portland last week, where we saw James Scioli and Brian Mercurio have an absolute grandstand battle there. Scioli getting the upper hand there in the final corner here. We do have 4 races in area history here at the Iowa Speedway. So as the famous Hunter Sleppy always gives us our stats here, 3 races here at Iowa have gone with the last caution in the 10-lap to go window. But last season, or rather 2 seasons ago, our last caution was 116 laps to go, Cody. Now, that would have been on the old asphalt here, where a lot more spreading out. I feel like these guys are going to be confined, like you said, to the bottom of the racetrack, or at least a second lane. So I'd be surprised if this race is as clean and green as it was last time they were here.
Yeah, of course, we're always hoping for a nice clean and green race here, but looking at how the old asphalt was with the guys spreading out, of course, tire wearing and all of that. Now with this repave, the tires are holding on a little bit longer, and it should provide for some excellent, hopefully clean racing, Corey.
Yeah, hopefully that is the case. So we'll see what happens. These races do surprise us. Our Cup race at Michigan on Monday started off rough, and it ended quite well. But of course, the race on Tuesday and the trucks at Michigan, well, that just did not go as well. We had to use all 3 overtimes, so we'll see what happens here. But the thing about this car, comparative to the next gen, comparative to the truck, Cody, that this car is debatably, if not arguably, the toughest car to drive. So even though we do have more grip with this repave, I think the nature of this car may spread the field out a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. The B car no F car, as it's commonly referred to, it's a very fun car to drive, but it's very difficult. But it's like you just mentioned, it's arguably maybe the best car on the service right now, with how you can move around, find different lines, and really just race your race.
Now you race your own race, and you'll see what happens here. But we have 2 minutes left. Looks like we're going to run the whole grid out. But I did have the end of lines pre-populated here, but they did not carry over. But we do have the list of drivers who will be starting at the back. We don't have any drive-throughs here today, so that will be helpful, because here drive-throughs at a short track, basically that's a -1 lap. But Alan Elwood, Bryce Senesac, Philip Groner, Logan Hartman, Jeremy Miller. We got Durham there, and Shackelford going to be starting at the rear of the field. So that could be a little scary. 30 some odd, I'll just call them Xfinity cars. 30 some odd Nopes cars firing off into a narrow groove. Cody, lap 1 might be a little hairy.
Yeah, of course, and especially if some of these guys originally have the pace to start towards the front, working your way through traffic here can definitely be tough. Really, with the way the repave was, you can go up in outside that dark pavement, but you will just be eating your tires and lose grip. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these guys work their way from the front or from the back, hopefully, to the front.
Now we'll see the comers and goers. We'll see how the fall off is. I haven't really been privy to anything behind the scenes as to what the fuel load is, which I would imagine probably around 80, 90 laps, but I haven't been privy to how the tires will fall off. Of course, we have 4 sets. We'll go over that in a little bit. But what will be the tire strategy? Will there be 2 tire stops? Will they be staying out? That could also be very important here towards the end of the race. But it looks like that ticker about to go down to 0 here, which will be the end of warm-up. That means we got to go down trackside for the Central Mobile Home starting lineup. And of course, if you're looking for a home, a small or a large home, a new shed, or Triple Crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes, proudly serving Florida customers for 30 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Head to LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring, CentralMobileHomesInc.com. But let's go down and give you that starting lineup here today from Iowa. Our pole sitter, Philip Groner, 23:57 with Jake Nichols to his outside. Road number 2 will have Jonathan Taylor and Justin Opplinger. Going back to the next row, we'll have Brian Mercurio. Always watch out for him, especially after last week, with Connor Horn in 6th, Alex Chilcutt in 7th, Brad Slaughter in 8th. Running at our top 10, Jonathan Evans and John Hall. There, Cody, do your best, my friend.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, Corey, and I will apologize ahead of time just in case I do mispronounce a name. James Sicoli is starting 11th, with Garrett Conrad starting 12th, and then Diego Sainz and Jake Fisher round out row 7. Row 8 on the inside will be Timmy Pacioli, and then starting 16th is AJ Stravato from Florida. Jared Skinner will start 17th from Peoria, Illinois, and then 18th is Lucas Lodato. 19th will be Josh Paris, and starting 20th will be David Weishart. And I'll pass it back for the rest of the field to you, Corey.
We got Drew Farnaz in 21st with Hunter Sr. here in 22nd. Then we have Jeremy Miller. He's an EOL recipient with Zach Carr in 24th. Travis Beckner, our Hendry County flagman, in 25th with Nico Servideo in 26th. Then we have Donald Kite and Peyton Howell. He's our points leader. He's going to have some major work to do. Ben Pierce and Sebastian Miller, and then we'll let the rest of them scroll on by, because as we know, the end of the grid gets all squabbled up with the penalty situation there. So 37 cars strong. Senesac, well, he doesn't have to go to the back. He's already there. Our race details, as we always say, it's kind of a copy and paste here, so nothing new to report, but just in case you needed to know, it is a fixed setup series, so whoever can gain the most comfort with that usually does persevere. 4 sets of tires, no backup car. We have been using green-white checkers a lot lately, so whether we use them again, we'll find out, but of course we'd rather finish this in regulation, Cody.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, green-white checkers can provide some entertainment, but at the same point, we want to see the guy who was fastest all race get to the start-finish line without seeing any of those cautions.
Of course, our pole sitter, Philip Groner, he is going to be going to the back of the field here. So he'll get the number 1 pit stall, which is, of course, very important, but that's all he's going to be getting here today because he's going to have to start in the back. That will give the pole, I believe, to Jonathan Taylor here. Traditionally, the inside lane does roll on up here. Jake Nichols to his outside. Any final thoughts or expectations or concerns about what we're going to be dealing with here today, Cody?
No, excited to see how this goes off. Obviously, having some pre-known prepositions about Iowa. Curious to see how some other people handle it and see how I may have been driving this track wrong all along, Corey. So let's see if I can learn a few things and also have some fun up here in the booth with you. Absolutely. After 2.5 years.
Absolutely glad to have you up here again. Since learning something, while this field is about a 5,000 I rating in terms of a strength of field, so we certainly have some of the best in the service here. They'll show you how Iowa is meant to be driven, or so we hope. But that pace car is going to turn the hard left turn into the safety of Iowa pit lane, and a very hard left turn it is. Very tricky pit entry here, but it's going to be Jonathan Taylor on the front row with Jake Nichols into the restart box here. Barney has the flag in hand, and let's go race in Iowa style here in the cornfields.
Yeah, going into turn 1 already side by side for the lead. 2, 3, 4 wide, or not 4 wide, 4 rows deep here, and make it through turn 1 and 2 without any incident.
Right now, Jake Nichols using that outside lane. Now, the outside does have more banking here. Iowa is a progressively banked track, but the grip tends to be on the bottom of the raceway here. We'll see if he can drive it on deep into corner number 1, and thus far he can. We are still side by side. This is important, Cody. This is clean air on the nose. This is setting the pace of the race, and it looks as though Taylor will persevere.
Yeah, I was impressed with how Nichols was able to hold on the outside there, obviously coming off a restart. It's very easy to race side by side, but yes, that clean air is going to be very important here today, Corey, as these cars have a tendency to build tight when you're in that dirty air. So getting that nose on the getting the air on the nose, apologies for that, is very important early on to preserve some tires.
Absolutely, getting that clean air. Well, let's go 2 wide, Diego Sainz. Let's go 3 wide here. This is outside of the top 10. Luke Lucidoto in that number 23 in a very precarious position there on that outside lane. Behind him is, that's Drew Farnaz here. And then David Weishart, always someone to watch out for. He is trying to just put a whole race together here. But in that middle of the Hornet's nest, you talked about clean air, talked about dirty air there, Cody. These drivers here really don't know how their car actually is going to handle because you have no downforce. You really have no baseline to work with back here.
Yeah, there's no baseline, of course. As they start to get towards the front, the clean air will start to open up a little. But when you're this far back in the pack, you're just fighting the tightness of the car and just hoping that you get an opportunity like the Alex Chilcutt is getting right now before he got right behind the 67 of just getting a little nose on that air to help you turn.
Get that nose on that air, the air on the nose, but you know, that'll be a Cody. That'll be a Codyism. That'll be a Codyism here. I did do, and again, I've done this all week. iRacing, I believe, is undergoing a little bit of back-end issues right now because part of our live timing software is not working right now. Separate from the graphics package, but that's going to hurt Cody a little bit, so he's going to do the best he can without the live timing package. But also, I did do a Trading Paints update, so Jonathan Evans maybe under a caution. We'll try that one more time. I know how important it is with all these sponsors to get your paint schemes on air, but again, late 20s, this is where the party's still at. Our points leader, Peyton Howell, he is up to the 20th spot, and there it is. That's a nice safe picture for the points leader.
Oh, yes, that is sketchy. 3 wide in front of you, going through 1 and 2. And you're just waiting for that guy on the outside to potentially hit the wall.
Back of the 23, Cody. Chuckle. Yeah, it just, I don't know. No one's ever pointed it out until about last week. But there's Philip Groner. Remember, he was the pole sitter. He's up to 22nd, bottom of 3 wide. Points leader in the middle. And then to the outside of the raceway, I think that's Jared Skinner in the 99. He's all the way out there in that old pavement. That is what we believe to be nowhere land, though it does kind of fill in on corner exit. So it is, again, that's the hodgepodge of this place where at corner exit, Cody, the grip kind of opens up into like a 3rd lane. You can see it right there. So if you kind of time it right, you really can take that high lane as somebody pounds the fence.
Yeah, that looks like it is the, I apologize, the 30 car of...
That's Jeremy Miller.
Yes, Jeremy Miller into the wall. And that is not going to help how that car is going to feel.
It will not. I mean, these composite bodies do handle a little bit here, so it looks, at least from surface level, as okay, but we'll see if that's indeed the case. But Brian Mercurio has got himself up to 2nd, did pass Jake Nichols. And again, Mercurio last week, he had that race just dominated at Portland, but Portland a very difficult track. And Scioli had that long run pace and kind of the pass in the grass there incidentally in the final complex. And that took the win away from him. So he wants to have a little bit of redemption. He's already working in that 2nd lane there, Cody. And I know the dynamic track system here on iRacing, the bottom heats up. You kind of search for grip the longer you go by. You know, we got 37 fast drivers here. This track is going to have some dynamicism, if that is a word.
Well, you know, Corey, I'm not one to judge on wordisms here, being that the nose or the air gets nose. But yes, no, Brian Mercurio looking very good early on. As you can see in the middle of this pack, looks about from 8th on back, it is just messy right now. It's surprising to see how that 2nd line's working around 1 and 2, Corey.
Yeah, there is that extra degree of banking, a little bit of contact there. Drew Farnaz down to Jake Fisher, a little bit of contact. Luckily, no issues. Usually that contact on corner exit, car is really light there. Usually that sends people around, but you know, we are seeing some drivers even go into no man's land up there, into that 2007 pavement. Now, the good part of that is there's more banking up there. Again, Iowa Speedway constructed and helped designed by Rusty Wallace, actually. So it is, oh my God, I can't remember the numbers. I want to say it's 12, 13, and 14 degrees, respectfully, up the lanes. So that extra degree of banking is nice, Cody, but not when the pavement's 25 years old.
No, not at all. And the way I look at Iowa, it's kind of a better Richmond, in my opinion. It races a little better than Richmond is nowadays. Obviously, Richmond back in the day was racing very good. As more cars coming off of two, hitting that wall as that corner can come up very quick. But yes, this progressive banking is providing some great racing here early on.
Yeah, that 97 of Zach Carr right there. And then you have the 22. This is all outside the mid-20s. But again, they haven't sorted themselves out. Going a little bit further up in the field, Timmy Pacioli in that 86, making like two trailer park girls going around the outside of Drew Farnaz here. So, but just as I say that, the 20 is not going down without a fight. Now, the 86, now he has the dirty air from Garrett Conrath in the front of him, so that's going to hurt, but I think he'll be able to clear this time by. Will he go to the bottom? No, he can't go to the bottom because the PTR TV number 20 is now going to finally have to suffice.
Yes, obviously with that outside, if you can generate the run, as we kind of saw Timmy Pacioli kind of do right there, it will give you the benefit of the doubt. And nice plug right there, Corey, as we see a battle here going on for fourth.
Now that is Alex Chilcutt on his charge through the field here. Of course, Alex Chilcutt dominated at Sonoma last week in the Area Truck Series, leading every single lap, which leading the perfect race obviously is every driver's dream come true, hasn't been done in reality since 2000 at Loudon for that terrible restrictor plate race at Loudon. But that is a historical topic for a podcast that this is not. But batting the perfect race so far is Jonathan Taylor. Now, he was gifted the pole, of course, with Philip Groner's starting position with the EOL, but he was gifted the pole, but he's driving out on Brian Mercurio 0.8 of a second. Although, last time by, Mercurio about 1.5 tenths faster, so that may be some credence to a lead battle coming up.
Yeah, and especially with my knowledge of how the fixed setups work, there is tire saving that is needed. Now, obviously, with the repave, the tire wear is not as severe as it used to be, but as guys kind of save tires, you will be able to see some of them come up through the field, close that gap up. And of course, with it being a 175 lap race and a potentially one-stop race, it will be interesting to see how these guys kind of play this strategy. Will some guys two-stop it? Will some guys one-stop it? It's really up in the air as of right now, Corey.
Yeah, it still is in the air. And now here's Connor Horn and James Scioli, last week's winner, going door to door. And it seems as though anytime we see a side-by-side battle, the guy on the outside is going to be the driver that has the benefit. And there's Scioli. He'll drop down to the bottom there, dropping it low. Trying to think of a song reference on the fly for Drop It Low, but I have one, but nobody will know it, so there's not even a point to utter it. But that battle is ceased. Going a little bit further back, Zach Carr, he's getting his TV time in the mid-20s. Jeff Wright, a big hitter in this series, usually a top 10 driver at worst, but 24th in that old Pepsi ride. And then Peyton Howell. This is going to be I know you don't know too much about the standings here, but obviously when the points leader is in the mid-20s, Cody, either it's going to be a terrible day or he's going to have one of those Kevin Harvick closer specials, because points leader running 22nd.
Yeah, he's definitely in the danger zone right now, and not the good type of danger zone. But yes, being mid-pack, this is where a lot of the action can kind of start to happen, where you start seeing guys beat and bang as we see another battle there going on. But at this point in the race with Jake Fisher, and it looks like the 20 right behind him,
Jeremy Miller, 3 wide in the middle, back of the shot there, puts the meat in the sandwich for that number 30. Get nothing that's too much of a surprise. We know Jeremy Miller wants to get to the front as fast as possible. Little door tap to the outside. That's Travis Beckner. This is some tight 3 wide.
Yes, 3 wide around Iowa, and it looks like that the car on bottom right there bailed
Philip
out.
Philip
Groner. And yeah, that is a very smart move. As Jeremy Miller gets loose there, coming off the 4. But yeah, that's a smart move this early on, only on lap 27.
He's got pizza on the hood, but it may as well be IHOP because he's making pancakes to the left side of Travis Beckner. Beckner into the wall. Luckily not across the nose of that number 30. He's going to do the old Iowa slide job, dive it on in. Here's a crossover to the bottom for Beckner.
Beckner looking low here on Jeremy Miller again, as we see Phil Croder kind of coming back at him. We'll see what kind of happens here, because this racing is getting interesting very early on as some of these guys are trying to work their way towards the front from the back.
Yeah, and this is, again, we're fighting, we were 2-3 wide for a brief moment. There is enough room for 3 wide in this confined fresh pavement. But again, that's not necessarily what you want to do, especially at this juncture in the race. They'll finally get back in. Here comes Groner pulling to the inside again. This is 19th. But I do want to go back to the front. I never realized the oxymoron in saying back to the front, but it really is quite one. But Mercurio, talked about him getting closer. Well, it was 0.8. Now it's closer to a half a second. In fact, sub half a second. And now Jake Nichols come into play here. Lap times all within about 100th of a second. And they're all running the same line. So this is where you kind of hit that aero bubble, Cody, where you can get there, but you get to 4 or 5 tenths, and now you have to find different real estate and try not to get aero blocked.
Yes, trying to find different real estate here at Iowa, even though it can be considered quite wide for a short track, can get interesting, of course, with it being, with the repave the way it was done. You want to get that fresh air on your nose and see if you can generate a run in a different lane, but sometimes it doesn't always work, and you just got to wait for the guy leading to make a mistake. In this case, Jonathan Taylor so far has been perfect with his lines.
Yeah, he has not made a mistake yet, but his lead is slowly shrinking. Now, of course, we are in Iowa. Iowa is the cornfield. A lot of things can be made with corn, and I've never put hot sauce on my corn before, but, perhaps that could be done, and you could try Rick's Hot Sauce to do that. They have hot sauces in South Florida, made locally there, as a battle is stewing up, but you could try Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. rickshotsauce.com, and of course check out that Rookie of the Year battle on Monday nights. But Jake Nichols, he has broke that bubble, and he is right to the back bumper of Mercurio. But again, they're running the same lines, Cody, but he's getting a little bit lower. Now he's a lot a bit lower.
Yeah, and earlier in the comments I was reading that Jake Nichols from We Are Lucky Ducks Racing looks like he may be coke bound here coming up shortly. So he this is definitely some practice for him, kind of learning that bubble and how to get around it. And so far so good. It looks like he is making the best of his case as he's right on the back bumper of Mercurio.
Oh, and he's sending it on in there to the back bumper. That Coast to Coast Racing number 82 gets right to that rear deck lid of that Supra. But I know we were talking, with some friends in another channel there, Cody, about the nuances of Iowa, and it seems to be coming into play here. Drivers were moving up the track. Now the outside is kind of heated on up. So now drivers are trying to fight for that white line, because if you can get right to that white line, the line itself provides some grip, but so few drivers can run that perfect line that you can find grip down there if you can slow wrap it.
Yes, absolutely, Corey. And of course, with that slow wrap, there's 2 different kind of options you can have here in the corners. As you can see, Nichols here making a move on Mercurio for second. He's going to go low as Mercurio goes high. We'll see if he'll be able to complete the pass here, Corey, as they're side by side coming out of 4.
And again, that tighter exit of the corner there usually makes the straightaway a little harder. And who's loving this? Jonathan Taylor. He's extending his lead. Jake Nichols trying to use that lower banking. There is still some bumps here, not as many, but they didn't do a full repave where they did all the re-aggregate over. They kind of just took off the first levels of surface and repaved it. So still some bumps in 1 and 2, but now back up to the top of the racetrack. That battle is temporarily over, but a battle that is not over. Garrett Conrath battling with Brad Slaughter. He'll clear for that 10th position. Now, it wasn't Slaughter. It wasn't Conrath, because those Hendry County boys, they have very similar schemes. I was going to say, where's Travis Beckner? Because he's still battling around Jeremy Miller there. That's a battle that we want to watch. But Peyton Howell still not moving. Our points leader still back there in 20th position. David Weishart kind of stagnating as well. But we are starting to see, Cody, some separation. Of course, as soon as I say that, there's a battle. But as we kind of do our little exit camera here, you can see the space between all these drivers, these Nopes cars, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Nopes cars. The skill starting to differentiate these drivers.
Yeah, we're starting to see some separation as the top 3, 4, 5 have gotten out to about 3 seconds, top 4 have gotten out to about 3 seconds on 5th place here. But yes, the driver differentials are starting to show up here as we've kind of started to go single file with some opportunities at passing, as we can start to see this racing start to get spread out and with some good racing.
Yeah, it's spread out, which, for the young whippersnappers out there who need to go 3 wide every single lap, they don't understand the goodness of, proper racing, but we love to see this. And again, if you watched the Monday night race here on the channel with the Studio Temporary Cup Series, we saw a race play out with fuel mileage, and the winner ran out of fuel coming to the checkers because the race was a fuel mileage race. Now, here is a wild thought, Cody. This is an absolutely crazy thought here as Scioli looks to get that spot on Opplinger for 5th. Let's take a look at our leader's statistics right now. He is down. Now, that's mathematics. That's about 1.5 seconds. I'm going to assume about 80 to 90 laps on fuel. So that would mean, is it a 1-stop race or a 2-stop race? I feel like we're right on the cusp. But can you really trust and depend and set your strategy on a short track race going green?
No, you can't, and that's what's going to make this interesting to see if somebody towards the back of the pack who may be struggling a little and isn't keeping up as much tries to break it into a 3-stop race, as we see the battle here right around Jeremy Miller again, where somebody towards the back, they may not have anything to lose, and it may be worth the gamble to make it a 2-stop race, 3-stop race. And with this type of fall off, we're already at about, like you said, about 1.5 seconds of fall off. It may be worthwhile to try to see, but like you mentioned, that caution could come out at any time.
There's a lot of battles on the track where it could be. We're side by side here. Travis Beckner, again, our Hendry County flagman. Of course, you can see him at the Speedway on, if you're watching this live, it'll be on May 2nd there in Clewiston, Florida, off Highway US 27. The southernmost dirt track in America. You'll see the Mod Lights, Top Gun sprints, and more. Tickets $20 for adults. Kids get in free. Discounts for seniors and teenagers. So I got into the ad read and I forgot where I was going with that. So, but whatever. I got the ad read in. So that's the important thing.
Yes, Corey, that's always good. They help pay the bills, so we got to get those ad reads in. But yeah, Hendrick County, great track down in the south for some dirt racing. Obviously had some big races down there earlier this year, but we're still seeing battles going on right around, it looks like, for position
15th or so. Peyton Howell, he's working his way up as the points leader. He said he's in the early 20s, but he is working his way through. And it's really tight. AJ Stravado, Timmy Pacioli, they were tight quarters racing off the corner. And we're seeing, now, Cody, you don't know obviously about this league, but you can infer just based on a lot of leagues. They all go through their ebbs and flows of respect and aggression and patience, and somehow balancing all of those things. And let's just say we have skewed heavily to the aggression, but it seems as though we are balancing a little patience and a little more respect here, because even though we're tight racing, I really haven't seen maybe more than 1 or 2 wreck scares tonight.
Yeah, nothing so far here, Corey. Of course, these guys racing with a ton of respect and probably have raced around each other a bunch. As you start racing in a league, you get to know who you're racing, what type of moves that they'll be making and everything. So these guys have grown accustomed to it. Now, what I'm going to be curious to see is if we do get to those green flag pit stops, as we saw during qualifying, it could be a little difficult here as Timmy Pacioli goes up the track and is getting side by side with AJ Stravado here for 12th.
Yep, he is, and that run from the outside will help out Pacioli in that 86, who has had just a cataclysmic start to the season, but is now managing to have a little bit of luck. He was on the podium a week or two ago, but it's just looking to have some positive semblance to his season there as Peyton Howell drives down to the inside. And, you know, I said it before, I'll say it again, as here comes Jake Nichols going for second. I can't remember when it was, but we did have a league race here at PTR TV. We had green flag stops at Iowa. This pit road, I would arguably say, is tougher than Darlington to get onto. It is such a blind, super hard left-hand turn. You'll see a lot of drivers miss it, and I have a large suspicion nobody practiced it. So if that comes into play, that will be huge.
Yes, Corey, this pit road is very difficult, and like you mentioned, it's a blind entry, so you have to make sure that you're calling out pitting ahead of time, as we saw Jake Nichols make that pass for a second. And kind of going off of that, as we see a battle here for right around
Pacioli getting doored up the track a little bit.
And you have to make sure that you're calling out your pitting, or else he will be run over, and it will be race over for you.
And then you'll end up probably missing the pit road. You can see there's kind of a little Legends access road down there to the inside, and a lot of drivers will have to use that Legends access road to go do another lap around the track because they missed the pits here. So that's 54. We're 54 laps in, and talk about a wreck scare. Drew Farnaz right to the back left rear quarter panel of Pacioli. These Nopes cars, they're seeming to have some rear stability. Usually, Cody, when you get hit in the left rear, it's an insta-spin, but these drivers are able to steer through it.
Yeah, hang on here, guys. But yeah, we just mentioned how nice and spread out it was getting. That went out the window here very quickly, Corey, as the battle here in that 10th to 15th range is starting to get a little wild as we see wall contact starting to happen as these cars are probably getting tight.
And I do apologize to you, Jonathan Evans, there in that 26. I said under a caution flag, we'd try to get your paint scheme up and on the screen. Again, I don't know why yours is the only one, but I apologize for it because ain't nothing I can do when iRacing decides to do its things. But Jake Nichols up to second now. He will try to set sails on Jonathan Taylor, who, again, still having the perfect race. Lap times this time by, well, 5 1,000ths of a second faster. 5 1,000ths of a second. I mean, do math at how many 5 1,000 of a second intervals are in 1 second. That would take a lot of laps. He's going to have to take some bigger chunks out, but he is doing that.
Yeah, Corey, I do accounting, and that's too much math here at 9:33.
I want to say 200. That sounds like a number to me, but yeah, 200 laps if you're only gaining 5 1,000ths a lap. So last time by, he was a 10th faster, so that math increases exponentially there as to how many laps it'll take. Scratch that logic of green flag stops. First caution here, lap 58. Drew Farnaz.
Yes, and it is the PRTV car there, as we're going to get an instant replay here.
Oh, it's the old classic who came up, who came down. We'll get one more look at that. Of course, it doesn't matter what we say. It don't matter what admin says because they will give the wreck score. I think the 84 from that rear deck lid cam. I don't think the 84 gave him enough room to work with there.
Yeah, no, that was going to be close coming off of turn 4 there. And granted, ultimately, that is a racing incident, as we can kind of see a replay here.
Yeah, he's into that
just comes up.
Top lane, that top seam. So luckily, no damage.
Yep, and it looks like during green flag there, Corey, as we get some pit stops here, the 29 missed the pit. So we're already seeing that happen as these cars are coming down pit road.
Wow. So that was unfortunate, but we were just getting to that point where that was going to get interesting to see if anybody was going to risk the shortcut, the short stint cycle in the pits. But that's not to be had, but we'll see if anybody chooses to try 2 tires. I mean, it's been more prominent than I would have ever expected it to be, but you already see in the back of the field, the left side's going up, so it looks like it's going to be 4 in fuel. Philip Groner is going to have that prime pit stall as the pole sitter, even if he didn't start there. Casey Lakatos, he must have did some tomfoolery in the pits.
Yes, that was definitely a quick stop as he.
Well, he didn't stop.
Oh well, yes, that will get you the lead.
That is the definition of tomfoolery, is just not pitting.
Yeah, and with that caution that came out there, Corey, it actually kind of saved the 29 car. Without that coming out, he would have been trapped a lap down.
So I missed that off the corner of my screen. I wasn't paying any mind to it because I was just looking at something else. Did he try to make a green flag stop, are we inferring, and just got bit the lap of?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing up here so far. He was trying to pit that same lap and missed pit road. Would have trapped him a lap down, and the caution kind of saved him.
Yeah, so that is just luck of the draw here, so to speak. But I mean, we'll see if Casey Lakatos there will choose to make a pit stop. I mean, he does do these kind of things on occasion where he'll stay out to lead himself a lap or get some camera time because he's an old ham that wants to get on the TV. And
Corey, that he may be my favorite driver. He's pulling the Cody Birch strat. Got to get that lap led. Got to, as he comes down to pit here, got to get that lap led. Get the TV shout out for some PRTV and his sponsors.
What channel are we?
PTR TV. I am sorry, Corey. Wow, I am rusty.
Well, I'm gonna write that PR TV on your check. You'll take it to the bank. They ain't gotta cash it. I'll save your money there. So I'll save some. That's what you asked for. That's what. All jokes aside here. Of course, we've already gone over a couple of our partners here. Another one, Blue Tip Pool Builders. As the spring season is approaching, you can go to bluetippools.com. They specialize in fitting your pool to your unique aesthetic and desires. Skilled craftsmen, cutting-edge tech to bring your pool to life. If you don't have room for a pool, they can do outdoor spaces, dynamic lounging, outdoor kitchens, and the like. Head to bluetippools.com as we get ready for the first actual restart of the race, Cody.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, what adjustments they could have made in car as we start to get to the restart zone, and we are back under green here at Iowa.
Whole shot goes to the 87 by far. Now this is going to be a good battle for second because both of these drivers are worthy of getting that clean air and driving up to the front, and it's going to be Jake Nichols sending it on the outside of the track, but he can't go anywhere. Mercurio going to be stuck behind Taylor and trying to rip the top is the 73 of Nichols, and he's going to get the real estate up there, and he's going to lead the lap.
Yeah, Nichols is making that jump out to the outside, and it is sticking right now, but he is going to want to make that move as quick as possible here as we kind of see Jonathan Taylor on the bottom get a little loose, and it looks like Jake Nichols has taken over the lead here at lap 64.
Absolutely. That is, he's still looking for that first win of the season, which Jake Nichols this late in the season, something that you don't expect to wait for, but that is what's happening here today. But we do have, again, some good racing in the back as they're still side by side here. First time Jonathan Taylor's had dirty air on the nose. Maybe he's going to have to acclimate to learning how to drive under these circumstances. Alex Chilcutt going drift style through 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, that was a full send moment as we're going to see kind of what happened on the instant replay here. Alex Chilcutt goes down the backstretch, starts going into turn 3, and the tires just do not grip. And that's part of the issue about entering in that old asphalt. It can just make your car loose and it's going to send you sliding. But up here we have a battle, it looks like, for right about the 8th to 10th place position as they're too wide through most of this mid-pack.
Yep, it took us about maybe 25 laps last time through to be able to spread things out, but we're still tight here. This is Connor Horn and Peyton Howell. What did we talk about? The points leader can't be back in the 20s, but he has got himself now into 9th, and he can see the light at the end of the tunnel here. Again, no lights will be turning on today, or so we hope. About 5 o'clock virtual time here. Iowa sunset probably around 7, so we'll hope there's no actual light, but proverbially light at the end of the tunnel for Peyton as he is to the inside of John Hall. Another driver top 10 in points has a win on the season here, but again, in that dirty air, Peyton trying to go where that clean air is.
Yeah, Peyton Howell so far looking very good coming from the back up to 9th already. Obviously, he has a lot of talent as the point leader here this early in the season, but just to drive that quick through the field, it shows the talent that's on hand.
Absolutely. He has been very competitive and trying to keep that momentum going all throughout the season and into our eventual playoffs. Talked about Jeff Wright as well. He's been in the mid-20s. Usually we expect him in the top 10. Nearly won himself the championship last season in the Florida State Builders Pro Series. Lost to Sebastian Marin by 1 lap at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's trying to work himself up there, and Jeremy Miller in near a 3-wide situation couldn't be. And who was he battling? None other than Travis Beckner. Second verse, same as the first.
Yeah, Jeremy Miller is in that middle, and what's the saying? When you're racing somebody, you're going to find them probably most of the race. As you can see here, he's sending it in, and they're going to be 3 wide coming out of 4.
And then they're fighting in that very narrow 2-lane strip. AJ Stravato to the outside, but again, Beckner and Miller can't separate themselves. Just behind that with a prime view is Justin Bolton in the number 41. And that is Beckner. Is he trying to find a gap? That gap didn't exist. And luckily, he didn't try to force it to exist here. But again, trying to find some clean air on the nose, trying to find some real estate. But again, this is Iowa. Old school Cody, they'd rip the top. And again, we're making pancakes.
Yeah, they're hitting doors and keeping it straight so far, which is great to see. But yes, Jeremy Miller seems to be in the middle of all these battles here early on at Iowa.
Body slam into the boards.
Oh boy.
I just wanted to make a hockey reference there. He wasn't into the boards. It was in open ice. I'm gonna go to replay here, but I have a feeling we're gonna be going to caution by the time we come back. Hopefully not. Let's see what happened. Beckner on the outside. So it seemed to be one of those situations where I think Jeremy was in that lane and didn't really give Beckner any room to bobble even the slightest. But well,
yeah.
Beckner. All right, we're going to be sending people in the penalty box here. 5 minutes for 5-minute major here. That's about as far as I can go with a hockey reference.
Yeah, Corey, that after watching some of the hockey games over the past week, that's not even going to be called. That's just some good old hard racing.
They're getting away with it. So again, these Nopes cars with the thin wheelbase, usually they get very light on exit. Usually you can't make those kind of moves without someone going around. But the old short trackers in each of them up on the wheel. Beckner kind of strapped in right now, trapped in behind that 77 of Stravato. Jeremy just about kissing the fence here. I could probably watch this battle all race because here they go again down to the inside. Now Jeremy's going to be stuck behind AJ. Beckner trying to clear, but he won't be able to. Has to leave the door open. This is fantastic stuff.
Yeah, this is great racing here on lap 77 as we're just under 100 to go here at Iowa. They're just side by side hitting each other's doors, keeping it straight. As you can see, the Hendry County paint scheme there on the 27 and then the New York Pizza Department up top. But yeah, so far so good with the clean racing here, Corey.
Eddie, oh, he found, I knew that was going to happen. He oh, jeepers.
Oh!
Ricky Rudd save of the race. 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 Travis Beckner.
How did you save that car? Well, I'm just so daggone good.
Save of the decade.
He
Save
that whole
of
corner.
the decade. Travis Beckner. Someone buy this guy a beer. $6 marg at Chili's. You know what? No, top shelf. I'll buy him a marg from Cheesecake Factory. I'll spend $20 on it for that save.
That was impressive. I thought he was wrecked 5-6 times during that wreck, or the save there, Corey.
Well, here's what I'm concerned about as we go back to the front. What happens when he gets back to the 30?
Well,
Now, he's ahead of the 30 right now, interestingly enough, but I don't know. But let's go and take a deep breath and unwind from that moment for a second and Brian Mercurio and Jake Nichols basically running dead even laps. Now Jonathan Taylor back to third, and he really hasn't gone anywhere. Chilcutt in fourth. James Scioli in fifth. You got Justin Opplinger in sixth. Connor Horn running a smooth seventh. John Hall, Peyton Howell, our points leader, and Timmy Pacioli rounding out the top 10. All 37 drivers who started this race on the lead lap and in competition. We only had one real spin, and it really didn't amount to any damage here, as we are very near halfway. 175 divided by 2. You're an accountant, Cody. You should be able to do that.
Yeah, so we got about 7 laps until we're halfway.
87 and a
here
half?
At Iowa. Yeah, 87 and a half will be halfway. So about five and a third lap now.
All right, so
let's go with that.
Junebug, we'll call 88 the halfway lap here in the Florida State Builders 175, because I'm not going to try to calculate the miles on that. That is well beyond my pay grade here. But we've seen some great racing and only one caution. Now, again, I have to thank Hunter Sleppy for the back-end data that he provides us. And the trends of Iowa are 5 cautions for 24 laps. So we are actually ahead of trend on the positive end of the spectrum. Whether that stands to happen again, we don't know. But we talked about last in the opening, as Jake Fisher pounds the fence, the last season race here, season 6 here in area. Last caution was 116 to go. So we are in position not to tie that, but come very close to it.
Yeah, absolutely, Corey. And as you mentioned, looking at the 4 prior, the caution came out with 7 to go, 5 to go, and 6 to go with 2 overtime finishes. Now with Iowa, that is always a possibility as we are short track racing. But obviously, this track is known to produce some long runs as well. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how this race keeps progressing.
Absolutely. And again, we kind of estimated about 80 laps on fuel, 80 to 85. We saw David Weishart, I almost said David Beckham, David Weishart trying to pit around that lap 60 caution. Because again, the tire fall off about 1.5 seconds, pushing 2 seconds. So there's going to need to be another stop. But again, the risk, it was presented to us, the risk of pitting under caution, under green at a short track is puts you in a very precarious situation. But something that won't put you in a precarious situation is walking around in some sweet area drip. You can head to shop.areairacing.com for high-quality merch at low prices. Search from their selection of new hats, t-shirts, area, brand, Adidas clothing, and other accessories. Shop.areairacing.com. I know they probably don't say drip anymore, but I don't know what the cool new word is, so I'm going to use that one.
You know, Corey, I'm going to be near that 30 here, coming up as the 67 makes contact with the outside wall and causes close to a 3-wide battle here. I still think drip is appropriate.
Right, but not out of a 37-year-old's mouth, I imagine. As
it is what it
Chilcutt
is. It's hip as they make contact coming out of 1 and 2.
Chilcutt going for that 3rd spot. Again, Jonathan Taylor, the amount of laps he led has been, 61 of them. So that's about 2/3 of what we've run. But now he is heading into Alicia Keys mode because he keeps on falling through the field here. He's lost the top 2 spots, and he's about to lose it to Chilcutt. And just behind that, last week's winner, James Scioli, is sniffing the back of that number 60 as well. So it could easily be a 2-for-1 for Taylor, but in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and looking at some prior stats here as well, Corey, season 3 and 4 was won by Scioli, so he does have Scioli. Yeah, thank you. You know, pronunciation has never been my strong suit here, but yes, he won season 3 and 4 here at Iowa, and he's led 156 laps in those 2, and took the lead with 13 to go and 70 to go in those races. So he knows how to get around Iowa, as you can kind of see the 60 of Chilcutt in the wall coming out of 4th.
Yeah, a little bit of contact to the wall, but nothing cataclysmic. Go a little bit further back. Opplinger under fire from Peyton Howell, who is trying to rip that inside lane, trying to make it happen, but not making it happen yet. Again, as our points leader, still trying to get his first win of the season here in the area. Does have 4 top 5s in the 4 races we've run, which is why he's in that position as try to make it happen. But so there must be some systemic iRacing issue going on right now, Cody, because I am trying to click on, in our back end, the point standings website, and I'm not getting any data on there either. So I don't know.
Does not seem like iRacing wanted to cooperate tonight on Thursday. Could be the end of the month too. Could be having its struggles.
I was going to say, where is he going with that? But
nowhere negative, I promise. But yeah, we can see the battle here between Chilcutt, Jonathan Taylor, and James Scioli. It's getting interesting here for that 3rd place position.
It is here. And as someone who's been forced to listen to far too much Taylor Swift in my life, I almost wanted to call him Elizabeth Taylor, but I think that's off of that new album. Oh my God. It's not Tortured Poets Department. Is that what it is? What's the new one?
Life of a Showgirl.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed I knew that.
Yeah, that was too quick. I thought we'd have to Andre and Papa Goog there with Dirt. But anyways, here is Timmy Pacioli. Look into that left rear quarter panel of that 67 O'Connor Horn, trying to knock him out of the top 10. But just as we say that, go a little bit further up. Scioli ripping that high lane there right on the edge. It's almost like, I don't know how we haven't made the reference yet there, Cody. It's almost like running a dirt track here. You're trying to hit the cushion up there. The cushion is the edge, and if you go too far, you're into no man's land.
Yeah, if you go over that proverbial cushion, wow, that was a big word for me to use. I'm kind of impressed with myself, Corey. But yes, if you go over that cushion, it is not going to end well. But also, don't look now, Corey, but here comes Peyton Howe, who is up to 6th position, closing in on the top 5.
And one of the biggest movers here in today's race, up 22 spots on the day. Of course, we're closing in on the century mark here. And if you're just tuning in, myself, Corey Silva in the booth, Cody Bird here, longtime friend of the channel, helping out here with the commentary, doing a fabulous job. And again, I'm being genuine here, Cody, because you're doing this at a handicap because, again, as we've kind of alluded to, a lot of the back-end iRacing systems with their API software not working right now, so you don't have the live telemetry that everybody else has. But doing a great job, and hope you're enjoying what we're seeing here tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely enjoying it, being back up in the booth here with you, Corey. As we can see right there, Garrett Conrad making a move for, I believe that is 11th or 11th position. But yes, not being in the booth for 2.5 years and coming back, it's been fun so far. And looking forward to the next 75 laps here as we see the battle between the 20 and the 1 going on here.
Hunter Sr. Andrew Farnaz, he was one of the first caution. He had a little small skirmish, but again, no real harm done to the vehicle here. Just behind that, Jared Skinner in the 99, and then David Weishart, who is 1 lap down. I thought, oh, no. Commentator's curse on the 20 car here today. Drew Farnaz, but luckily the wall was there to save it from further issue.
Further issue for now.
Coming off the corner. Oh, 99 got loose down the track. And Drew was just the innocent bystander there. So I will, for all sake, I'm not going to show you on camera anymore, Drew, because I don't want to disturb the race any more than we already have. But Timmy Pacioli, 10th place, going for 9th under Connor Horn now, who is heading in the rearwards direction in that number 67. But up front, not missing anything, Jake Nichols has stretched it to about a second. They're running, again, equal times, but whenever there's a lap that's not equal, it goes to the 73.
Yeah, Jake Nichols looks very good here early, or well, in the middle portion of this race. As you can see, the battle here heating back up between Jonathan Taylor, Peyton Howe, and Alex Chilcutt, as Peyton Howe has now moved into the top 5 here on lap 103. But yes, no, the battling so far throughout this race, the leader kind of gets out to that gap, but the racing from second on back has been superb
we
all
have
night.
Brad Slaughter Jr. into the pits. We're 44 laps in. Is this a scheduled stop, or does he have something going on unscheduled? I mean, this is in a window. But if this is a scheduled stop, this is a massive risk. Somebody else in as well. That is Jeremy Miller. So this must be drivers taking the gamble that this is going to be a green flag finish.
Yes, it seems a little early after that first caution. Personally, I would have pitted around lap 120, 125. But at the same point, you're in that middle of that path back there. You want to try to get track position, as when green flag stops do come, it should spread this field out a little more, Corey.
Yeah, the field is already rather spread out, but even more so will be the case here as Mercurio, that is the 22 of Josh Adams, who he has also pit as well. So he is metaphorical Superman here, as again, we are about 1.4 seconds off the pace right now. See a 23.8 to a 25.2. So that's about 1.3 seconds. And you know how that works, Cody? It's for every lap that those drivers who pitted run, that's about 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Once everybody pits, you know, they have a 5, 10, 15-second buffer, but they have old tires, and that gap will eradicate very, very quickly.
Yeah, that gap will eradicate really quickly, and as the newer tires kind of start meeting, as we mentioned earlier, a kind of a cliff, these tires will equal out eventually, and that's where it could get interesting, because as we're starting to see here, the 86 making a pass on, or trying to make a pass on the 67 and the 96,
Whoa.
As they're starting to beat and bang a little here, as you see Jeremy Miller, as you mentioned, being Superman, coming back with those fresh tires.
There he goes down to the end. Jeremy Miller 3 wide. If I took an alcoholic shot every time that happened, well, I'd probably not be in condition to do this broadcast right now. But Jeremy Miller has been 3 wide a lot, and he's trying to get through the field. He was only about mid-15, 20th in that spot, so anything to maybe get him to the front, he is trying it. And speaking of getting to the front, Peyton Howells drove up to 5th. Well, now he looks for 4th. Try to get to that right rear quarter panel of Jonathan Taylor, and he will drive up there. A lot of drivers getting loose on the exit, but he's able to power it through. Somebody's slow there to the inside, back of the shot. Couldn't make out who that is, but thus far we carry on just fine.
Yeah, and what you're going to see here, who is going to be the first of this top 5 to make their pit stop? As you can see, the 88 coming off pit road. But who is going to be the leader that makes that first stop? Because as you can see here, more cars are pitting on lap 111. But with these leaders, it's going to be a game of who pits first, because these guys do look pretty equally matched. And I don't know if tires are going to, or if when whoever gets that clean air will probably come out victorious.
All right, now here is a very interesting position right here. Now Jeremy Miller on those fresh tires getting by Mercurio, but Scioli has caught right up to him. I mean, this is a showcase. This is a deja vu of last week, except it's not for the win, and we're still many a lap to go, but Scioli going to the inside. I think right now this would be a good chance maybe for Mercurio to pit a little early. He seems to be losing the touch. Because like you said, whoever draws first blood, the next guy has to pit the next lap. But now that next guy is going to have a 1.5 second buffer.
Yeah, this is going to be an opportunity for one of those two, as they are right on top of each other with a lap. I believe that is a lap car right behind them. Whoever is going to be the first one, and now it's just a waiting game here, Corey. Who's going to be the one to draw first blood?
Jake Nichols remaining out, and he is up by 1.5 seconds. Mercurio driving in on deep into the bottom lane and coming off the corner here. Looks like Scioli may have the upper hand, and he will. And he should be able to dive in and clear as one of the highest running drivers to pit thus far, Connor Horn. That was out of, I believe, 10th or so. He is in. And then here's Jonathan Taylor. Again, once he lost the lead, kind of reminds me of old Jeff Gordon in the mid-2000s, Cody. Once he lost the lead and getting dirty air, he just fell on back to a nobody status. And Jonathan Taylor struggling, but he does make it into the pits.
Yeah, those barrels come up quick here at Iowa. But yeah, no, he's going to be the first one to draw blood, and now it's going to be a waiting game to see who else comes in behind him. And it looks like Timmy Pacioli has pitted as well. Those are two of our front runners, and it's going to be interesting to see how this cycles out.
James Scioli only 1 second back, so he's already gained about 3-4 tenths into the maximum gap that Nichols had, as Nichols is now getting surpassed by a bunch of drivers. My opinion right now, this would be a perfect lap for Scioli to pit. Nichols is trapped to the outside of the racetrack. He's losing a bunch of time. I would pit right now, force him to stay out there, but you know, I haven't raced this car in about 2 years, and I haven't raced in a league for the win in a very long time, so what do I know? But Justin Opplinger coming in. Connor Horn, black flag. He was in 10th.
Oh, that has to hurt after making that pit stop and starting to come back up through the field to get that black flag. But yes, here we're starting to see that Jake Nichols has gotten that clean air back here slightly. Now again, it's just a waiting game. Who's going to be the next one to do that? As more than likely already, you're going to see Jonathan Taylor start to make up some spots.
Yeah, look at 3 tenths faster last time. That was in dirty-ish air, so we'll wait for it to transpire in relative clean air this time by. Nichols at a 28. That's about a 10th and a half going to the 7. So I really think Scioli, I mean, I guess it depends how you look at it. We still have 55 laps to go. That's only 20 minutes here, about 23 minutes of racing.
And I do apologize, Corey. I thought you said Connor Horn got the black flag. He did.
See on the,
but
on the ticker
Jonathan
there.
Taylor is still on pit road as well.
Oh, no.
Which, that's kind of, I don't know if he got a black flag as well.
No.
But he is behind a lot of the guys.
I don't have any inkling of any information if he, like, just pile drove the pit wall or anything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe if I can, admin in the background may be able to give us an inkling of information. But again, I don't have anything, and I don't want to go on a massive searching spree. But that is huge. Driver who led over 60 laps here today. But what I was saying is there's not a ton of laps left in this race. It's Scioli right to the back bumper. So if Scioli does have the long run pace there, Cody, I don't know if staying out as long as possible is best going to suit him.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to either.
Connection
He's
issue
going to
for
want
the
to
87.
All right, thank you. Yeah, and that stinks to see for Jonathan Taylor, as he was dominant early on. But here you can see Mercurio coming down pit road. He was in the top 3 here, and he's going to be the one to try to jump the top 2. As you can see, it looks like Jake Nichols is making his way onto pit road with Scioli right behind him.
Scioli for 3. He sent it on in there to get to the back bumper. Chilcutt as well. And you'll see those black flag icons pop up to the right side of their name if they stretch the envelope a little bit too far, but all looks well now. Of course, entering the pits is the worst side to get the black flag. Actually, no, I guess entering the pits, you get, I think, what is it, a 40-second hold? Exiting the pits, you have to do a stop and go, so I guess which poison would you rather have? Ideally, neither.
Yeah, ideally you do not want to get any type of black flags. But as we're focusing on these guys coming off pit road, the 7, he has dropped it, and the 73 right behind him, and it looks like race off pit road, the 73 got him. Yes, that's the way it does look here, Corey.
And there's Mercurio.
Yep. So Mercurio was able to jump both of those with that pit stop.
Oh no, Garrett Conrath, I think he missed the pits. Said it was going to happen to somebody here today. I didn't expect it to happen to Garrett Conrath. I do believe that was what happened here. Yes, sir. Makes me feel like it makes me feel like I know what I'm talking about when it actually happens, but I feel bad when it does.
Yeah, that.
Oh, Steve Durham.
Car sideways coming to pit road, and it looks like we're going to stay green as he got to pit road cleanly.
So back-to-back issues entering the pits for these guys. Steve Durham. Oh yeah, we'll scroll back a little further. Yeah, just totally missed it, and then he just put it in race gear here and then got it in, but it's off the racetrack, so Barney let him play.
Yeah, popping it into race gear is not recommended, especially when they are going around the track at speeds of upwards of 140, 150 miles an hour, as we can see Peyton Howell on pit road now. It's going to be curious here, Corey, how this race kind of progresses, because he stayed out longer than others. Are those fresh tires going to make a difference for him in the long run now that he's got track position?
All right, I do want to analyze something here. Does that number look fancy enough that it would not be an iRacing stock paint?
I'm not quite sure.
No, that's an iRacing stock paint. Again, I apologize to Jonathan Evans. You're the only one whose paint scheme didn't load, and I did do about 2 or 3 refreshes because I do like to evade that happening, but I do apologize for that. Casey Lakatos is second right now, and he still is yet to pit along with Jonathan Evans, Josh Parrish in the 71. Brad Slaughter Jr. also yet to pit. Now, Brad Slaughter, pardon me, he pit 25 laps ago. So his tires are old, and here comes Mercurio. Here comes the 73 getting by on those fresh tires.
Yeah, this battle up here for, it looks like between 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. It's interesting to see how these tires are playing out, as Casey in the 50 has pitted now. But yes, Jonathan Evans still has a 9-second lead. So if he's playing the long game, hoping for a caution, brings everybody back down to pit road, he's got some time to play it out. He doesn't have to come yet. He's good on fuel for right now. As you can see, a battle here for what will be the kind of proverbial leader of the race between Nichols and Mercurio.
And then behind that, you do have Timmy Pacioli, who pit 8 laps prior. And then there's James Scioli. He was the fastest car on the track, but again, he's going to have to find a way to make short run pace in that 7. But he will be able to make some ground up if these drivers remain side by side, as we are now 42 laps to go. Only about 15 minutes of racing. If this stays green, this is the battle for the lead once the top 2 pit, and Nichols has to fall back in line. You don't want to use up everything yet trying to get by Cody. It's so tempting to just keep pushing, but eventually he'll use up everything and he'll just be struggling on back if he doesn't let him rest.
Yeah. Right, yeah. At this point, Nichols is trying to force Mercurio into a mistake. Obviously, he has a little fresher tires, but that's the ultimate goal here. But the guy who I'm looking at is the guy in 5th place. He showed the long run pace. He got by Mercurio earlier right before the pit stop for a brief second. And if he has that long run speed here towards the end of this, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Trying to use that outer lane and using it with a vengeance here is Jake Nichols with a little slide off the corner, but he gets that track position on Mercurio. This is a super important pass because this will likely give the leader of this a phenomenal chance to win this race. At the stripe, it does go to Nichols, but Mercurio will send it on the bottom. But I think it's only a matter of time before that outside prevails, and there it is.
Yeah, that outside, he was able to get the run on a little fresher tires. Obviously got a battle here going on between Coast to Coast Racing and Lucky Duck Racing. And so far, so good. Racing each other clean, battling, as you can see, more passing going on towards the back of the field. Well, not back of the field, middle part of the field.
A little further back, that's John Hall leading this charge with Justin Opplinger. So this is about 5 or 6 positions right here. 6th of Opplinger battling with John Hall in the 24. John will drive it to the inside, may even clear. I think he will. He will clear with ease. Alex Chilcutt, who has driven up to about the top 5, but really hasn't been in a position to really take a lead for this race. And there he goes. He jumped the cushion, and that cost him some time. Didn't think I'd ever say that at Iowa.
Yeah, you do not jump the cushion. That's when you can make a mistake, as you saw there. But don't look now. Here comes James Scioli coming up. He just got around the 71 of Josh Parrish there, and he's right on the back bumper of Mercurio. And before long, he may be chasing down that 73 car here, Corey.
Now, Josh Parrish still yet to pit along with Jonathan Evans, who 80 laps into their run. So, I mean, they're just hoping on that caution, which we just really haven't seen here today. We've only seen two, both really from small issues. Of course, Travis Beckner, go back about mid-race, save of the decade there after the little shunt from the back of Jeremy Miller. Tokyo drifted 1 and 2 like a boss. And, but that didn't cause a caution. We've only had two on the day, so we are well below the trend that Iowa Speedway has presented. Of course, if you like what you see, we will be live next week as well. And I believe, if memory serves, we will be back into a trifecta, a triple header at the Rock, the newly released scan on iRacing of Rockingham. All three series will be there. Cody, you race a lot more than I do. What do you think an O'Reilly car is going to do at Rockingham?
So, from my knowledge, I did not race that earlier in the year for the one league I do run in, because I personally do not like Rockingham. Now, from what I heard, though, it raced great on the service, and with the way that I'm seeing the racing here at Iowa, it should present a great opportunity for more side-by-side racing, Corey.
Now, a lot of the people, in different areas are, no pun intended, the consensus was, why do we have to go to Iowa? They ruined it. And then a lot of people are saying the same thing. Why do we have to go to Rockingham? They ruined it. Well, that track needed pavement, and this place also needed pavement. Josh Parrish is needing of some grip here as he's losing these spots and needs a little fuel to get around with it too. Going back up front, again, Jonathan Evans is the leader right now. He is on ancient tires, getting swallowed up by all these drivers trying to get back onto the lead lap. And then the battle for what will be the win is Jake Nichols and James Scioli. They're separated by about 0.4 of a second. Mercurio about a half second further than that, noting that 73 and the 7 complete equal tires. Remember, they exited the pits side by side.
Yeah,
I think I incidentally went to the wrong button, Cody, so we cut you off. What were you saying?
What was I saying? Yes, they were on equal tires there for a while. And of course, with the equal tires, it sometimes can be interesting to see what happens. But yes, no, and if you can bring back up the feed, because I currently cannot see anything. Thank you. But yeah, no, with the equal tires, it's really going to show how the long run paces look on both these cars.
Just noting, Discord does not like being signed in on two devices at the same time. Just learned that one the hard way. Timmy Pacioli down to the inside will pass Josh Parrish, who again still has yet to pit. They're actually about maybe 3 or so laps from passing Jonathan Evans just on pure pace right now. And then he will be 2-3 laps down once he decides to make that stop. But we're still going through this back and forth process. Jeremy Miller, remember, I think he pit around like lap 100 or so, and now he's going a lap down. That gamble by Jeremy Miller did not play out for him.
Yeah, no, the gamble was worth a shot, but as we're seeing right now, it is not, as he's back to 28th. So yes, pitting about that 120 mark, it looks to be like it will be working. And now, Corey, something else to think about. What if we just got this fuel mileage all wrong and the fix set? What if Jonathan Evans can go the whole way? Now, I don't believe he can, but it would be a wild situation here.
It would. I know usually it's about 100 laps, 100 miles or so tends to be the general just average of what a stock car will persevere here. But it should be any time now, but again, he's just hoping for that caution. But as every lap goes by, we kind of call it the rocket equation. For every gallon of fuel you put into a rocket, you need another gallon of fuel to put the other gallon of fuel in. It's an exponential thing. That's how we relate green flag racing. Every lap that goes by, it becomes more likely that it's going to go green flag. And then the lap after that, now it's even more likely. It's even more likely. As far as we are in now, it's pretty likely this is going to caution flag out, but Cody,
you just had to say that.
Cody, we're going to go back to Watkins Glen broadcast. I said we have not had a caution, and literally within 0.3 of a second, the caution came out. That was Watkins Glen in about 2023, I think. So I haven't commentators cursed it to that level, but I've already hit the 20 about 3 times here today, so I'm not batting 1,000.
No, and that's okay. You know, as we were talking before the race, Albert Pujols pitched the game. As they're hitting side by side, and you may have just jinxed this, as you could see a 5-car battle here going on, as this looks to be for about positions 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Yeah,
Parrish still yet to pit, but Travis Beckner, if this was an IOP, he would have the tallest stack of pancakes of anybody. Whoa, Josh Parrish getting a little shunt there, or just got loose, one of the two, maybe a combination of both, as Wright and Fisher and Bolton trying to get by. But going back to what will be the battle for the lead, it was roughly 0.4. Now it's down to 2. This would actually be a really good time for Scioli to get by while they're in real estate, while they're in traffic, while that 73 has some dirty air, setting picks, baby. But thus far, not able to do so. With every lap that goes by, the 7 gets faster and faster, but unfortunately for him, he has an inventory problem because we're running out of laps.
Yeah, with only about 20 laps to go here, he's going to have to make that move sooner or later. And also, don't look right now, but our point leader, Peyton Howell, is up into 4th position and tracking down the leaders, as he's only about a second behind as they're side by side going down the backstretch and going into turn 3.
Yeah, this is Brian Mercurio that he is getting by right here, or trying to anyways. And like you said, only about maybe a second and a half or so behind. That might be too much to get normally, but you know, anything is possible here. But 20 laps to go, only about 8 to 10 minutes of racing if this plays green. This is all working to the advantage of Scioli and Nichols because they will pull away. But I think that is Ben Pierce maybe acting as a pick to help Peyton Howell make that pass.
Yeah, it definitely looked like he was acting as sort of a pick right there, and it was perfect opportunity as we saw Hal kind of dive it in there to make clear that pass. But yeah, Hal is about to get around the 20 car here and start to set sail on the top 2, and we'll see what's in store. Obviously, with only 19 to go, laps starting to run out. But as of right now, Jonathan Evans still leads, which is actually quite impressive still, that he is making the fuel last this long.
Yeah, he is 98 laps in. That'd have to be 110. I mean, I've never seen that at Iowa before, but again, what do I know? As again, 18 laps to go. Again, our race recap, I mean, I was kind of expecting to play the caution game with you, Cody. Oh, it's supposed to be 2. I did do a reset mid-broadcast, trying to get the timing up for Cody, but we've only had 2 cautions here today, so let's say 2 for 6. Brian Mercurio getting the fastest lap, and I think this is the time, finally, Jonathan Evans will peel it. I thought... there it is.
Yeah, he peels down, but Corey, we've only had 1 caution. So the second time that the 20 car was hit, there was no caution that came out with that.
Okay. Why am I making up another caution? It straight.
I don't know, but yeah, we've only had 1 caution in this race so far. So far, so good. These guys are racing very hard, but respectful with each other. Oh, and just as I almost just 2.5 years and almost just give the announcers curves.
Josh Parrish, the 3rd driver to have a pit road entry issue here.
Yeah, it looks like he's just coming in a little too hot and just blows right by it.
And then he put it in race gear as well to get back in, but again, Barney's letting them play. And well, again, if you watched us last week here on PTR TV, as Nichols jumps the cushion a little bit, that'll cost him a little bit of time, a little bit of marbles on those tires. If you watched last week, we had ourselves a grandstand last lap shootout at Portland International Raceway of all places. We're getting ourselves sized up for a replication of that here at the Iowa Speedway. I don't know if it's going to go to the last lap, though, Cody, because that's 7. He has some pace, but you know, the old saying with Pontiac, wider is better. I think that Chevy is going to get pretty darn wide here, but maybe not wide enough.
Yeah, side by side here for the lead with 14 to go as Scioli looks on the inside of Nichols, and he's just not ready to complete that pass yet as Nichols gets the run back on the high side going into turn 3 here, Corey.
Of course, these are team drivers. They're on Lucky Ducks. So, I mean, they're going to race each other with respect, but these are drivers that are both championship worthy. And look at that traffic in front. Even if Scioli does clear, which he does, there's going to have to be some traffic, and I'm sure they'll be cordial, but any bit of traffic is an opportunity again to set a pick, get some dirty air, make a mistake.
Yeah, and also under 1 second right now is Peyton Howell, as he's right there on the back bumpers of these leaders. We're going to have a 3-car battle here for the lead with 11 laps to go.
And just look at that, Peyton Howell, 4-lap fresher tires now obviously that's quite tangible because he's been driving as fast as he has. And where did he start again today? 28th. So obviously a phenomenal drive to get even where he is. But he can see the lead, and the leaders are in heavy, heavy traffic. So Jake Nichols ain't going to make it easy, but if he gets by relatively quickly, he's going to dive it in there. He's got to get by the 73 in short order, and I just don't think it's going to happen easy enough.
No, definitely not, especially with this lap traffic. But just as we say that, Howell dives in on turn 3 here on Nichols. And it looks like he's going to use that 29 car as kind of a pick here and try to complete this pass. But Howell and Nichols side by side for second with 10 to go.
Now, this is usually that time in the race. Again, these drivers losing a lap. They do want the free pass. And here comes Nichols trying to fight in the middle. 3 wide with the lapper. Weishart falls back. Now stuck behind Diego Sainz is the 73. He'll get out of the way. And this is clean real estate. About 4 car lengths or so separate Peyton Howell from James Scioli here at Iowa. I mean, we're coming into another amazing finish on the cards here in Iowa in the Florida State Builders Pro Series. I didn't see it coming. We were talking earlier in the race. What's he doing in the mid-20s? Well, I don't know if he's going to do this, but the fact that he's even this close there, Cody, is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal, especially with only 1 caution. He's made most of these passes under green flag conditions. Something else just to take note of is a lot of these guys are getting out of the way of the leaders, which is great to see with the respect among these. With 7 to go, it's going to be interesting to see how this race plays out, as you can see Howell closing in on that back bumper of Scioli.
Now let's take a look here. And now, mind you, they were passing drivers too. That's a 10th. Only a 3/10 separating, going all the way to the bottom of the track with Scioli trying to rip the cushion up there. I'm going to keep calling it that because that's what it is. Going right to the edge of that fresh asphalt. But Peyton really working that bottom. He's getting that grip right on that white line, and he's using that white line like a boss. Picked up 2 car lengths just on that side of the racetrack.
Yeah, please stay green, Corey. This race is looking to finish very super, and they keep going. They're passing, they're driving away from the rest of the field.
Still a lot of traffic ahead, and Peyton, again, he's running that very, very difficult line. He missed the bottom that time by. He really slid the tires in there, but even so, still gained and actually lost a little bit on corner exit, but now only 4 laps to go. Drive into the inside. Leader behind Josh Adams has to change his lineup. That dumps a lot of dirty air on the nose of the 52.
Yes, a lot of dirty air right there as you see the lapper getting out of the way for these 2 to battle as Howell gets right to the back bumper coming out of 4, and we're going to have 3 to go here, Corey, at the line.
3 laps to go here in the Florida State Pro Builders round number 5. Peyton Howell in the back. Started in the back, drove himself up to the front. Now he was side by side for a brief moment in time. James Scioli trying to go back to back here, and he's going to have to hold on. Big dive to the bottom, and the 52 rips the bottom. He gets that white line like a vengeance. 2 to go. We're going to have a photo finish, Cody.
Oh, 2 to go here, and don't look now, but that 71 is on fresh tires, who can ultimately play a deciding factor in this. But look ahead, there's 2 lap cars. This is setting up to be a fantastic finish here. A lap and a half remaining, Corey.
He's going to dive it on in there. Here he goes, side by side, up the track, contact. 97 really has to save it. They're doing it off the corner. This is the white flag lap here by Shop.area, iRacing.com. He sent it in there, got loose. Amazing job by Scioli to save it. And now they're going to be side by side off turn number 2 here. More contact. Look at them. Look at the wheel. Look at them fighting. Final time through 3 and 4 at the Iowa Speedway. Peyton Howell to the bottom. He's going to drive it in there. He's going to get up the corner. He's going to get to the inside. Scioli fighting off the top. Photo finish at the stripe. Give it to Peyton Howell.
Holy moly. Wow, what a finish to that race. Speeding and banging coming to the finish. But ultimately, kept it clean. Both cars were ended up being able to finish.
What a race here. I mean, you saw Peyton Howell start in the back, drive himself up, had slightly better tires, and managed to put it in victory circle. A little bit of contact. I mean, I'm going to quote old Joey Logano there. I think that was just some short track racing. We'll watch some of it here on replay. You see him, little contact off of 2. He saved it. Gave Scioli a chance to gather it up, Cody.
Yeah, gave him a chance to gather it up, didn't rough him up too much. Then coming back to the line here, ran him up high, not a whole lot of contact, gave him an opportunity to get back. And you know the craziest thing here, Corey? How many laps Hal led? I believe it was only about 5 laps. Obviously with the pit stop cycle, as he's burning down on the front stretch. 6 laps.
6 laps led. And he's going to burn it on down here. The points leader will get his first win of the season in the most exciting way possible. Back-to-back banger finishes here on Thursday nights. People love this Nopes car on iRacing. Well, this series is giving you every reason to feel that same way. Let's give you the final rundown of results here today from Iowa. Peyton Howell gets the win by 3 100ths over Scioli. Jake Nichols in 3rd. Brian Mercurio in 4th. John Hall in 5th, Alex Chilcutt 6th, Justin Opplinger in 7th, Pacioli, Fisher, and Conrath rounding up the top 10. I'll take over the second page. We got Jeff Wright. He got himself up a good run in 11th. Bolton and Grona. Travis Beckner, he was the save of the decade, 14th spot. Then we have Stravato, Slaughtercar, Senior, Lodato, and Adams. And then we'll let the rest of them scroll on through here. Of course, you got to feel bad for the 87 of Jonathan Taylor, led 60 some odd laps, but has to settle for a poor finish. But we'll head right to victory circle. Actually, not yet, because he's not here. So I'll just wait a brief moment. And we'll head right to victory lane with Peyton Howell. Well, Peyton, you started in the back. Mid-pack, you work your way up. You had slightly fresher tires. And, man, how did you do that? You drove it in there. You were sideways. You were fighting the wheel. And you made it back into victory lane. How did you do that?
I was the only one on the bottom, and nobody was driving it in as low as me. And I figured out in practice that you could like get your left sides on the apron, and it would help the car turn. So I was like, I'm just gonna stick to it all race. If it don't work, it don't work. And that first run I was flying. Then the second run, that long run right there, I just had to stick to it, and I was like, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna go like 4 or 5 laps longer than these guys and just hope it works out. And I'll tell you, I'm sweating after that, because I was driving as hard as I could this final 40 laps or so after we pit. And oh my gosh, I can't believe I got there. I was telling John and them in a Discord with like 10 to go, I was like, it's over. I just run out of time. And they started racing each other. And I was like, okay, we might have a shot. And I used him up a little bit, but I mean, we're racing for an area win, so, and I'll expect it back somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I mean, we said that was short track. You gave him little butt nudges, but you gave him the opportunity to save it, which is not something that other people do, and you yourself had to deal with it as well. When you caught lap traffic, man, I mean, a lot of times it's, oh man, I'm in lap traffic, but did you almost see it as an opportunity? You know, he's getting dirty air on the nose, you can set some picks. Did that help you, or did that actually hurt you in the navigation back to the lead?
I thought that the lap traffic was perfect for me, because none of them were rolling in like I was, so I could roll in under them and grab the grip strip while these guys were up at, like in the middle, getting dirty air and having to race them off a corner. I used it as a pick against Jake a couple times there to get around him, and I'm glad we didn't catch the lap traffic coming in because I wanted to race it straight up with James. But yeah, I just saw it as like, if they just keep running the middle, I'm gonna just keep diving it into the bottom every time and just hope I clear them in like a half a lap or a lap. So.
Well, back-to-back grandstand finishes for us in the booth here on Thursdays, man. And in your favor here tonight, I'll give you the floor for any shout-outs you want to give.
Yes, sir. I got to thank Wyatt, Dolan, and WD Racing for hopping on board this season, as well as Icon Apparel, Unrivaled Innovations, Superior. I got to thank Timothy for everything he's done to let me run this league, and y'all for putting on the broadcast, Jacob for putting on the league, and I hope we put on a show tonight.
That is an understatement, man. Congrats on the win, and we'll catch you next week at The Rock.
Yes, sir.
And now second place, ever so close to a back-to-back. You were on the positive end of a tight finish last week. This week on the negative end. James, how do you kind of process that battle and how it worked out?
Yeah, it's the winner last week and second place and another exciting finish this week. So nothing to be too mad about. Had real good speed all night. Felt really, really good on the long run and played the strategy what I thought was pretty good. Didn't want to have to get undercut by too many guys and have to work our way through. And then, kind of when I was battling with Jake, I saw that Peyton was starting to get close, and I knew that he overcut us by a couple laps. So I knew he would definitely be there at the end. And unfortunately got there right at the perfect time. So that was a good battle, though. I didn't think he did anything too crazy. I mean, we just bumped and banged a little bit, and just solid short track finish, I think. So. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we got a grandstand burner up here to call, so that was exciting. But just kind of talk about, just Iowa as a whole. I know everyone in the Discord, they ruined the track. Well, it seemed to be pretty racy. Drivers jumping the cushion up there, trying to get a little bit too high. But all in all, it looked good from out here. What was it like in the driver's seat on the new Iowa?
Yeah, it was honestly a lot better than I thought it would be. I didn't run any laps here until we got into the session today, so I didn't really know how it was going to be compared to Old Iowa, which was one of my favorite ovals, just with all the different lines and things you could run. But at Old Iowa especially too, once the tires got worn out, you could kind of just park on top, and it was real tough to make passes on the bottom. But the way that these grip strips worked, and with the new pavement, I kind of found a weird line in 1 and 2 that was working pretty well, just entering a lot higher than most and kind of cutting down, and seemed to give me a good enough exit to get all my passes done. So I thought it was a lot racier than I expected going into it, at least.
Yeah, well, all in all, great run for you, even if it was a couple feet short of where you wanted it to be. But I'll give you the floor for any shout-outs, man.
Yeah, first shout out to Peyton Howell. Just a nice, clean, good finish. Fun racing him for sure. Real quick driver, so good racing him. Fun battling with Jake and Brian and John and all those other guys up in the top 10. I think that we put on a pretty good show. So big shout out to everybody for keeping it clean too. It was fun to have some green flag stops, a couple different runs, some strategy, all that. Was a good time for sure. Shout out Lucky Ducks. Good team points tonight, second and third, me and Jake. Shout out Aftermark Coffee, Simrap Market, Tiltify, No Kid Hungry for being on the car. You guys for broadcasting these battles. Another one I'm going to have to go back and watch after last week's excitement too. And shout out to the admins for keeping us clean.
Absolutely, man. Great job. And we'll see you at the Rock next week. Another repave.
All right. Thanks, guys.
And then third here on the day, we got Jake Nichols. Well, Jake, you led yourself a lot of laps here today, but just started to crumble a little bit there towards the last third of the race. What was the defining factor that just kind of put those other two at an advantage to you? Was it just tires or something in the handling?
I just used up too much right front always. I couldn't really drive it any other way, and we figured out some good lines throughout the race of running like the third lane in 1 and 2 that was really fast. We made both of our passes on Brian there for the lead with that, and we were hoping that we could at least hold on. I just didn't want to really impede James too much once it became obvious that I was holding them up forever. So I tried to race him once or twice just to see if I could hold him off, but once he got a good enough run on me and I kind of overdrove 3 one time, I was just trying to get to the checkered or hope that was yellow. But overall, the Aftermark Coffee Chevy was pretty good. It felt good the whole race. I think just the last run there, every bad handling aspect I'd have late run just was accelerated for some reason. I don't know if it was just the heat and rubber laid down and maybe something changed that last run, but I noticed that I got tighter really a lot earlier, like halfway through the run earlier, pretty much. But either way, we'll take a great run and great points night and move on out of here.
Absolutely. Just one quick question for you on the strategy here today. Of course, being a short track, not traditionally where you plan on green flag stops, and David Weishart got bit by pitting and then the caution comes out. How much difficulty goes into that decision on a green flag pit stop at a short track, just knowing the odds that a caution can come out being so high?
It's pretty sketchy. We try to just wait as long as you can. We wanted to just wait until someone in the top 5 pitted. I knew we'd probably be still. You want to probably pit like last of the group in reality, but it was really hard to pass. So I didn't want to give up, 5 positions to guys with only like a lap or 2 fresher, because it was just gonna be so hard to make that back up, and especially with my right front problems all race. I just wanted to make sure I stayed as close to the lead as I could, and maybe pitting a few laps later would have worked out and we could have won, but I think we did what we needed to do in the situation that we had, and it's unfortunate we lost, but we take that and move on and learn for next time, and hopefully we'll get into victory lane soon.
Well, it's a great season, man, when a 3rd place is disappointing, so we'll see you at the Rock next week.
Yes,
but I'll give you
sir.
the floor for any shouts you want to give.
Just everyone at Lucky Ducks Motorsports. We had a great night, obviously, again there, with James and I running 2nd and 3rd, and I'm trying to see where the others finished. Philip, after starting in the back, 13th, AJ 15th, solid performances, and I saw Josh there pass us at the end with fresher tires, so everyone was kind of there lurking, but thanks to Aftermarket Coffee and all of our partners, we should have a new look to the car next week with a new partner on board, but it's been great running this purple and teal. It looks great, and I wish we could have won with it, and maybe we will later in the season. I don't know, but either way, thanks to everyone at Area and you guys for broadcasting. And it's been a fun start to the season, but we want to get a win. That's for sure. That'll make it a lot better.
Absolutely. Well, next week at the Rock is going to be a relatively unknown experience for many. Maybe it'll come then, man. But congrats on the solid run, and we'll catch you then.
Thank you.
Well, Cody, obviously the first time you've been with me in the booth for a while, and could you have a better race to cover?
No, absolutely. It was a great race to cover the entire time. We saw great racing throughout, very clean racing, and ultimately got a last lap pass there to end the race. And yeah, just great racing all along.
Absolutely a phenomenal race here. Back-to-back bangers here in the Florida State Builders Pro Series. Stay tuned for our next broadcast. We'll be live on Sunday with the Triple Bypass Racing League again. And then we will be finishing another week of Area, again, all at the Rock in all 3 series. So a busy time on PTR TV. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Join us for the journey. And if you're on Twitch, consider following and subscribing on there. $5 a month gets you double points, emotes, and potential free merch. But that's going to be Corey and Cody signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.